Mr. Miller, you made it seem like this relationship from the start was more transactional than personal. Is that a fair way to describe it?
At the beginning, yes. Her and her husband had just bought this house. They were living in Montana at the time, and then he was taken into custody. She didn't have any help to move, and so I saw the plight, and I offered to help her move.
So at that point, there was no discussion about probation fees when you helped her move? You were just
When I helped her move, no. I had gotten permission from my probation officer to make the trip.
Well, why would you do that for her?
To help her, but it was more just to help the
Were
friend.
y'all in a relationship at that point?
No, we were not. He was a mutual friend between me and my previous husband, and he had offered to help me move. I didn't have anyone helping me, and at that point, he was not moving to Colorado with me.
Okay. At what point did this friendship turn romantic?
It turned romantic in December of 2019.
In Colorado?
Yes, he stayed. I had offered to allow him to come stay at the house, and if he'd help me with the kids, then I would cover living expenses there.
But
yes.
nothing about probation?
But nothing about probation.
When did that come up?
That came up in May of 2020.
And at that point, you were in a relationship?
We were in a relationship at that point,
Do you agree
yes.
with that?
We were in a relationship then. Yes.
Okay. And what was that conversation like?
He told me that day that he had a meeting with his probation officer, and if he did not pay his probation fines off right then, he was going to jail.
So where in that conversation did she say, if you continue to watch my kids and do things for me, because at that point y'all are together, I would pay for your probation fees?
She didn't initially say that. I told her that you agreed, that you said you were going to pay off this fine almost a year ago. This whole time I haven't been working. I've been watching your kids for you this entire time when I should have been working and paying off this fine myself, and I haven't been because you said you were going to do it.
Tell me about this. Tell me when he agreed to buy you a truck in order to pay off this debt.
It was in July and August. We had discussed getting a bigger truck, and I kept discussing that I would like being paid off by this life insurance policy that he got from his mother. And he didn't really want to give me the cash at all. And I said, well, we can put the truck in my name and you can just use it. And
this was all verbal?
Yes, it was all verbal.
No. I got the text messages that she sent 10 days after we took delivery of the truck. We're in the middle of our argument that we're about to break up from, and she's still claiming that I owe her that $6,000. Where's my money? And I'm saying, no, I don't owe you this money. What about all the time I spent dedicated to you and your kids when I should have been out working? Where's my money for that?
Mr. Stark, I want you to look at Mr. Miller's evidence, page 27 of Exhibit H. You say, I want the $6,000 that belongs to me. Why were you asking him for $6,000 if you believed that you had just made an agreement that he was buying you a truck in lieu of the $6,000?
Because at that point, honestly, I just wanted my money back. I didn't even really want the truck. I was really upset. This was on August 23rd, and he had just assaulted me in my RV.
And I understand that, but do you have anything prior to the fight that erupted between the two of you reflecting that this was a loan?
Yes, I do.
All right. Point us to that.
Exhibit B. In the text messages, I said here that it was a loan.
Right, and you refer specifically to loaning
sorry.
you $7,000 to pay probation.
Yes.
And these text messages, I take place from the language, took place during a fight?
Yes.
Okay. When was he supposed to pay you back?
He was supposed to pay me back as soon as he could. He was supposed to get a job and start paying on it.
But why didn't you seek repayment from him for 2 years?
I did numerous times. Most of it was verbal because we were together. I mean, I didn't want to break up over a loan also.
If I may.
Yeah, briefly.
In August of 2020, when she says that I was supposed to start paying that back, at the end of August, I traveled to Seattle to care for my mother. She's at stage 4 cancer at this time. I wanted to spend a few weeks with her. While I was there, I am calling her, asking her, when is going to be a good time for me to fly home. And that's when she informs me that I don't have a home there anymore, that she had rekindled the relationship with her husband. So when she says that, that the agreement was I was supposed to get a job and start working, and I wasn't even living there with her at the time. It was in November of that year, that same year, is when she kicked the husband back out and begged for me to come back.